So I'm currently heading over to Pencil Golf Academy for my first lesson today. It's pretty nerve-wracking, I'm going to be honest with you, because I haven't had a lesson since I was very young. But I'm excited, I cannot wait to get there. They've got the best facilities and the best coaches, so I'm excited to see what goes on, what happened, what are my figures. So I picked the Dan Spalding, guys. I'm going to just pop up his Instagram right here. Boom. That's Dan Spalding, guys. I've been watching his content for a while now, and I felt like he was probably the best person to help me get better at my golf game. So if any of you guys watching this now need some tricks or tips on how to get better, make sure to watch his Instagram. He's got so many videos, so many different styles and lessons on how you can improve your golf game. But head in there now, shouldn't be long. It's time for the first lesson, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure to freaking hit the like button for your boy, please, and make sure to also hit that little bell so you know when I'm actually uploading and you get a little notification. And make sure to also just subscribe. It's free, it costs nothing. Just subscribe to the channel, show some love. And for everybody that has already subscribed, I appreciate you. I love you guys. We're in 125 freaking subscribers, which is sick, to be fair. I never thought I'd get this far so quickly. So much love to everybody. Sit back, enjoy, and yeah, first lesson. Let's get it, baby. Peace.
Got a handicap at the minute?
I'm currently on 16.3. That's after shooting 22 at Stableford. 22 points.
Oh really?
Oh, maybe it was a bad day. It was the first time I swung the club in a week as well. Bad news in the office as well, so it was just a bad weekend.
So what's stopping you getting down, say, from 16 to, say, what's the next target for you, around, say, 12?
Well, I was at a 13, and then I had 2 consecutive bad rounds. One was at 88, and then the last one was 100, so a bad day. But I managed to get it down when I first started playing. They gave it to me, and I was on a 17, and then I dropped it down to the shot 81, and I was like, alright. And then we got to the point that was just bad.
So bad strike for you when you are having a bit of a bad day, what does that tend to look like?
It varies. It's a lot of chance, and then I know with my wedges sometimes I can thin it. If it's a tight lie, I tend to thin it quite a lot around the green. That's about it. I think it's all mental though. You know what I mean? I don't chunk it and then I thin it, and then if I don't thin it, I chunk it.
When you're playing on the course and you obviously say you've hit a couple of chunks like that, is there anything you ever go to like think, oh, I can do this, I know this is like a safety blanket as a shot, or not really?
Not really. I experiment with the other 3 variants I've tried and failed. I just completely change it up. So I come around the green, I tend to just line up, and if I tend to duff it, then I tend to close the face quite a bit and then just push it, stab it, rather than chip it up. Like that one as well. See, I chunk and pull, and that tends to be quite. If I'm approach shots towards the green as well, they tend to happen. But a lot of my shots, they would just go there. And I know when it's wrong, it's run out to in or as well. But it's just trying to fix that is my biggest objective. And I want to play more competitive golf. I do really want to start competing. And Saturday was my first ever comp. It was a Stableford. It wasn't.
No good?
So it wasn't great.
Grab me 11-9. Back in your 100 post in front of you.
This one. You just left it.
Normally when you're playing well, do you like to see the ball left to right or right to left?
I don't mind as long as it doesn't over the top move. It's a natural left to right shot anyway though. But just trying to control it is my biggest.
Would it tend to start that far left normally on the course?
No, it doesn't. If it starts that left, I know it's a bad shot for me, because a lot of the times I try and also counteract that by aiming very right, and then when I do aim that right, it tends to just stay right. And then if I straighten up, it doesn't go where it intended to.
All right. Give you this as the target line, and you just want to basically set your feet parallel to that.
That was better. And that's another thing I also find about my aiming, is I tend to, I'm never there, I'm always either aiming way left or way too right. I'm struggling to get the aim with my feet and shoulders.
Do you have a pre-shot routine to help you with your alignment or not?
With my driver, I tend to hold it there, look, and then set up. I don't know my irons. I just sort of just feel.
Yeah. So a good thing that I love to see as well is when you're stood here, it's picking like an intermediate target a few inches in front of the ball.
Got you.
Because when we are looking so far out, when I come in now, my perspective is totally different when I'm looking at there and trying to then align myself. If I can pick something in line with my target slightly in front, I will then put my club down, set with my hands, and then I go with my eyes, and then my feet come into this.
Got you.
So acronym I use is CHEF, so it's club, hands, eyes, feet. So I usually like to see that with anyone I'm teaching, like myself. So like I said, club in, hands, and I got my eyes to that and to that out there, so my intermediate and then the external target out there, and then finally feet. And I'm just sitting my feet parallel. Obviously we haven't got that line to help us, but I'm using my kind of club face alignment of my feet there to try and sit that parallel to this target here. It's so much easier to set to a target that's say a foot in front of me or 6 inches in front than it is if you're in this, I would say 170 out there. It's a lot more difficult. Notice with me as well, I'll always have my left foot back because that kind of just like opens me up, as opposed to, I don't like that as a preference, but some people I will get them to do this because then they can sit their ball position easier. So from that position here, if I have my feet close together, right, depending on what club, obviously depends on how wide the first initial step is. So obviously pitch and wedge will be more central, and then obviously 7, 6 iron, 5 iron slightly forward centre, and then obviously with the driver I just take a slightly smaller step, and then you can see it's on the inside of my heel. So that I would incorporate that as a little bit of a routine for you just on the course. So that will give you some sort of a basis to go off for alignment and ball position.
And then a line like
yeah, and even when you are practicing with a purpose as well, you can incorporate something like this where you start to train yourself. Give me a couple more, and then what we'll do is we'll pop a couple on film, we'll have a little look at you, and then we'll run through the TrackMan data we've collected. Even that's not too bad. When you're playing as well, so when you are striking the ball well, do you take much? I know you mentioned you can chunk it when you are hitting the ball. Do you take much of a divot on the course?
That also varies. Sometimes I don't take anything at all, and I hit it quite nice. Or other times I'll just take a divot, either just after the ball there, for instance, but it's not a very deep one.
Okay.
But it just like shakes the grass almost, which is nice.
Pop a couple swings on film. We can do a similar line. And I'm going to video one down the line, one face on, and then what we'll do is we'll have a little look at it and then compare it to some of the TrackMan data that we can see. Right, perfect. So if you take your set up to the ball, fire away when you're ready. Good, this one. Okay. So if you jump over here, we'll have a run through this. Setup-wise, that I see needs slight adjustments, because with the posture and setup, that's going to dictate, even though it's not the most fancy thing to work, it's going to dictate a lot of what happens from how far you step away, body alignment, ball position. That's going to dictate a lot in the setup. So for me, that setup, you stand your hands too close to your body, okay? I like to see them slightly more hands under the chin from this point of view here. Here. So you can imagine your hands have started here. Look how much they've moved as they come to So if you see me in this mirror now, if I'm starting with my hands here, and they want to return back up to my chin here, because saying over the top, it's not really a bad thing, because anyone can come slightly over the top of me, well, classic golf, like it's just an anchoring swing. It's gathering the information of how far over the top or out to I'm swinging it. I then relay it into some of your TrackMan data here. So the ball, first, those 7 irons are in, say 8, 9, 7 irons, you're averaging about 8.5 degrees out to it. My rule of thumb is I like to see it 4.5, maximum half that, because then it makes it a lot easier to control our face. Because if I'm coming this far out to it, for argument's sake, right, my face, if it's anything matching the path, that's big left miss pull. Then if I have that face just slightly fraction too open or fairly square to target. That's that ball starting on line, just slightly left, with a massive curvature off to the right. So the saying that we have is face sends it, path bends it. So where the face is pointing, give or take, it's going to start relatively close to that face, right? And the difference between the face and the path, then it gets dictated by how much curvature that ball's going to have. Okay. When your ball's starting that far left, that's pretty much where your face is going. But when it's staying there, that's because your face has now matched that path that's come along that way. So your start line and curvature issues, yes, they are a little bit face orientated, just because the path's too severe, you're making constant manipulations. Then just to touch upon why you don't take much of a divot when you are striking as well. If you have a look at your attack angle here, you're kind of averaging -2, and it can go down to as close as level, so 0. At your speed, swinging around about 84, 85 with a 7 line, you want to see that anywhere from -3, -4, all the way up to -6. Okay. That means I'll have a bit more of a descend and blow down to it, so I can actually get that kind of compression. Then what that does is it brings my low point slightly further ahead, it brings it 2 to 4 inches ahead of the ball. So the low point is at what point is that club the lowest of its swing arm. Hence why when you feel like you're playing, you're not taking much of a divot, but all you're doing is as you're coming over this way, it's like you're trying to look back out and help that ball up. Hence where you can see quite a high ball flight, which you'll then start to struggle at the wind.
Yeah, I do tend to find that in the wind.
I like the amount of degrees of turn you have on the back, so your head stays really nice and stable. You could argue, I'd like to see a little bit more depth on the backswing. But that's very difficult when we're starting from this position with our hands so close to the turn around here.
I always thought to myself, why is it so hard for me to get so flat in the backswing?
Yeah.
And now I know.
So your lead arm position here is actually quite nice. I'd just like to see a little more hand depth, which is like hands in relationship to the right shoulder as I'm going back. I'd like to see them a little bit further behind, because this from here then is going to enable us to neutralise his path here, as opposed to when I'm in tight and my hands are on in front of that right shoulder, I just turn now and you can see they're going to come over the top of that and twin excessively. What we're trying to do is get these hands slightly behind our right shoulder here, the trail shoulder. This now allows me to just lower my arms and all of a sudden I'm a lot more neutral in path, and then I can be aggressive movement. You could say that ball is there, it's almost
Try that.
it's not far away, at least a 3 would. That now means I've got to now come more over it to get back to that ball. So now that will explain why you don't actually have that harsher, steeper attack angle, creating that nice divot, because the ball's more forward, hence that more of an upward motion when that ball is forward, coupled with path. So first thing we're going to do setup wise is put that ball slightly more back in the stance. It's going to feel like it's dead centre to you because your ball sits that far forward. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stand further away so our hands are just hanging slightly more under the chin. From this position here, start dumping this club a lot before the ball heads your chunks. Now my low point, like I mentioned before, is over here. If I was further, ball position more neutral here, and then shifting my weight, which you do naturally pretty well, could do with staying a little bit more in posture, but all of a sudden this low point can come here. I don't have to release earlier and back out of it. Does that make sense? So a couple of things we're going to watch on TrackMan now and look at would be, we're going to make a couple of changes. We're going to see how the path gets affected. We're going to see, can we match face now with this path? So I don't mind if the path stays out to it. My target today would be, if that's sitting about 8, 8.5 out to it, can we get that under 5? And can you start to manage the path, the face better along with that path? And then will that improve our attack angle to give us that compression? Because at the minute, you're swinging 10 degrees left, so anywhere from 8 to 10 all the way through. So if that's our straight line, that black and yellow 100 post, you could argue you're swinging hard, so hard left, it's done probably left that 50 post here.
Wow.
So you can see how excessively you are. We want to work left, but we don't want to be working 10, 11 degrees swing direction out that way. So what we're going to do now is, this is a perfect setup station, is you can put that cane here, and then you want to basically have that just slightly ahead of centre every single time for that 7 iron, so you can have a consistent ball position. But you've then got a visual reference, not just you guessing. If you take your setup around for me, okay, perfect. Probably just nudge your feet fraction more that way. Now how does that feel to you?
That feels like I'm hitting a wedge.
Yeah, so we're going to hit a couple of shots for that to start with, so we can get used to it. So we're going to come back. Now you can use one of the most powerful tools, which is the mirror. So you can actually see yourself and check yourself before every shot to make sure your hands are sitting on that chin. So now we'll shove our feet a little bit more. There, perfect. And from there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop your handle slightly forward. That's another thing. So what I'm doing is I'm putting you into more of what we call a push draw setup. So when the ball's further back, handle slightly forward and our shoulders slightly to the right. This is all of our swing path to go to the right. Now I don't really necessarily want your swing path to go to the right. That's such a big change. But what I want to do is give you the best chance to reduce that. So if I can feel you swinging a little bit to the right or getting you a setup that's going to be a push draw setup, this should then neutralise your path. Right. So first of all, before we touch on that backswing, which I mentioned in the depth, I just want to take a couple of shots from that posture to show me how that feels.
It feels like I'm so far away as well.
Take your time with that setup. Good.
That didn't have so much movement around.
No, not at all.
A lot more solid now. Try and walk into the setup to try and feel more of a natural.
Good. What you do, because obviously you've hit a couple of thin legs, it's an unusual position for you to be in, right? With this setup, right, we're just going to make a couple of shots at 50% speed. I just want you to pop a little bit of weight on your left leg, 10% at the setup. Don't forget, I want you to push your hands slightly forward at the breast. Good. Now, as you swing, I just want you to feel like you kind of stay on that left side as you swing. Nice 50% speed. That one's gone left, but that was just facing. As you can see here, path all of a sudden gone down to 3.4. You've got that attack angle 3.2 down. Because your natural tendency is to do this, and that ball's now further back, so it might feel like you've got to help it up more. We're just going to combat it to start with by just having a little bit of weight on that left side until we learn how to move a little bit more efficiently. See there, see how little curvature that ball had. So the aim for you is, because obviously at the start, the ball starts so far left, and then when it does come back, it's moving 30, 40 yards comfortably in the air with a 7-iron. For you, what I would like to see you do is eventually get to a point where you can aim at the middle of the green, and know if you do push or pull it there or thereabouts in the parameter of the green, not having to start the ball left of the green, or start the ball into trouble and hope for the ball to come back. Because like that one there, you can see now, again, tap down before. Attack angle wasn't as good, it was slightly cleaner, but it was better than it has been, which was 2.6. That's the kind of efficiency level I'd like to see. You can see now it's probably 5 yards within our target line, as opposed to before it was a lot further left, and it was more further right. So it's about tightening your dispersion up as well. Okay. That's a lovely thing. Good. What you're going to do now, just because we've got that ball left so far, would you set it for me? Good. Just want to just like there, and don't forget that to the ball. Now you'll might seem like that face is set right. I just want you to feel like you swing along where that face is aiming. Really good. Now, have a look at that path. All of a sudden that goes to 0.4.
Oh wow.
Okay. So that from where you started, you were averaging 8-9 degrees out to in. That there was minus 0.4. So you've, without me having changed anything technically in the swing yet, just set up, you've now gone from being a classic over-the-top golf swing to now swinging neutral.
Oh wow.
Just from setup. Good. How nice was that?
Much better.
And you can see how much lower that ball flight was.
It wasn't so straight up, was it?
And
A
again,
decent shot.
2 shots there, you've backed it up again, 0.4.
Wow.
Attack angle was slightly low on that one, but again, that's going to take a little bit of time. We haven't quite worked on how the body movement works yet. And you can see there, without you realising, you actually swung slightly quicker. Because now you're not having to stop and back out of it and slow down. You've got space to actually move and let that cut to keep continuing. It hasn't got to stop to try and square itself up.
Everything was working together there, right?
Correct. you're not having to create space for yourself and almost feel like you're fighting with yourself. That's it, commit to that setup. Again, half club, 0. So there's 3 in a row.
Oh wow.
So that just shows all that was space. So look at the speed there.
Wow.
When you realise that not, you've slightly got more space now, so it's feeling maybe a little bit more comfortable. You're just going to be moving slightly more efficient. So that club head speed in theory is moving 5 miles an hour. Pathwise, which is my aim to start with, you've hit the last 5 shots where they've all been within 0.4 on the inside and 0.4 on the outside, so there's about 9 degrees of movement, and you can see your swing direction so much more neutral, not swinging it 10-11 degrees left. But now, for you, because you were used to swinging so far over the top, you felt like you had to release really, really hard not to hit that slice. Now, we're going to work on a couple things now just to feel like we can almost start that ball square without having to release. So if you set up to that ball for me, yeah, with that nice setup, good. Right. As you turn up to the top and stop, so go all the way up and hold for me, good. We're just going to now add a little bit of depth here so the hand's going to feel a little bit more behind you, right? As you come through, what I don't want you to feel like you have to do is excessively release this club head. What I want you to feel like is almost as if the hands are beating the club head to the ball. Okay, it's not like we're trying to manufacture shaft lead or anything. I'm just going to change your kind of release pattern. You're going to feel like these hands are slightly ahead of the ball. You can feel that face, see that? And you're going to then feel this hand work slightly under it. Anything. It's not a scoop, it's just going to be a bit more of a passive release without feeling like we've excessively got to roll this hand over. So have a little practice swing to start with without the ball. So you're going to go up to the top and stop, just feel these hands slightly further behind. Just a little bit more. There we go, perfect. Now slowly through, feel the hands ahead of the club. Good. Now this club face works more under, it doesn't roll as hard, it works more under. Okay. So the aim for you is on the way through, I want you to almost feel like that club face is pointing behind you, not. Okay. So what we're going to do as well, we're going to have a little 3/4 follow through, because what I want you to do as well when you go back and you start hitting balls on your own in practice, is you want to be able to stop and analyse your throw, because that's going to tell a story of what's happened on the swing. So if I come up here now, my hands are all the way over here and the face is there, I know I've excessively released now. I've got that feeling that I want you to feel the hands beat the club head and work under more. Because if you then stop there and you can see that club face pointing back, then we're on the right track here. So remember that setup, a little bit more turns on the way back to give us that depth and then that release pattern change. 40-50% speed to start with and then we'll crank it back up. Awesome job. Really good job. You really want to feel like it's there. Okay. So that right hand to feel like it's almost under, not rolling over as much. Good. Just got that right shoulder there. Let that soften a bit. There we go. That's it. So you want to feel like as it's coming through, it's not an abrupt one, it's a bit more of a relaxed. There you go. And just relax into that position. This might look and feel to you like it's a scoop on the way through. It's not, it's just going to be a bit more of a passive release. Better move, sure. But even on the bad ones you can see how there's slightly more draw bias now, as opposed to these big.
I used to try and counteract that. See, this I used to do my old setup. I used to go like that, really in. And then swing across and we used to cause it to the top draw, but then it would knock that.
A bit more turn on the way back and feel that release. Yeah, you try. The path is actually 1 degree into out. Okay. It's just a little bit of face at the minute. So as you go up to the top and stop, flip and hold. Good. Now from here, so a little bit more depth here. Now slowly come down to my hand here. You're going to be feeling, see how that's coming to me first? What you're doing is it's going there and then you're trying to play catch up. So the face is already turned over. So as you're coming through here, let that from there right palm almost feels like it's running up to the sky here, as opposed to over that way. If you hadn't made any changes today, I'd have said keep that release pattern. If you letting it go hard over the top, because then that suits you as a bit more of a matchup. The swing's all about matchups. If you look at some other players, a lot of players, say fade players or whatever, you can see a lot of them finish this way with the palm up here, back of the left-hand glove, pointing behind us. But again, there's other players which will have a hard, excessive release. It's all about matchups. It's not that one's right and one's wrong. It's just that now this is better for you because this is more of a matchup with how we're moving now. Does that make sense? If we did this release pattern, if I just gave you this release pattern and hadn't made any of the changes today, you'd have been hitting that ball higher and it'd been slicing even more. Does that make sense? It's all about having the matchups. So really, don't be afraid to turn and feel like our hands are beating the club into the ball. Further, what you wanted to change with the path not being as excessively over the top. That last one was 2.6 into outs. Okay. And then from there, the attack angle was 3.8 down. All we're struggling with at the minute is just that face is still a little bit left. So we're going to hit a couple more shots, and then if it doesn't quite click, then we'll add another little bit of a movement to help neutralise this. Awesome strike.
That was the best one today.
Awesome strike. Really good. That's the attack angle. You can just hear the audio of the shot was totally different.
Speed forwards.
And that's because the attack angle, that was 4.5 degrees down. That's what gives us that compression. You can hear the difference in the audio straight away. I don't want you to fear that the ball's starting right. No. Okay, because your path now, again, 1.5 degrees in front, this is going to be a little draw for you. A little bit, but the movement and the shape was everything. That was much better. That's when I would like to almost see you in the long run. So I know I've been singing your praise that you've got the path into out now all of a sudden, but obviously that's a big change. It might be 10 degrees change from where you are starting, what your natural DNA is. I would like to see you somewhere there where it's 2.5 degrees out of it. But look at the face. Matches that face there was 0. So if anything, that ball might start hair left of target, if anything. It might miss right, but it's not a big miss because the path and the face are closer together and it's a bit more of a matchup. But then for me, attack angle 5 degrees down, you're not swinging 11 degrees left, 4, the attack angle's down, which is now going to give us that compression, but also what you call, which is that ball turn contact every time, which gives you that kind of nice divot that you see a lot of the pros on TV will be creating. We like to call it the big dollar bill.
Feels like I'm overshaping my body, but
what, at sense that you feel like you're aiming excessively right?
it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like I'm really closed off to the target and everything. I know it should be, because if you open like that, that's what causes that, doesn't it?
Of course. But by us aiming you over here slightly, only with the shoulders, not with the feet or anything, what this is almost doing is subconsciously blocking that left side of that target for us, which is promoting a little bit more of a swing path out that way. It doesn't mean it's going to happen every single time, but it's just going to neutralise. If we are square or favouring here, I'm going to want to follow my shoulder path. Whereas if I am here, it's easier for me to swing into out. But if I do have my bad tendency where I want to be a little bit aggressive, stand up out of it and chuck the club over, that path won't be 8-9 degrees over the top as much. It might only be 4 or 5. But it's also combating our bad tendencies as well. A couple more and then we'll pop some back on film and have a little. Still complete a nice good turn on the way back for me.
Okay. Felt that was it. It was my hands. My hands went like that. Felt it out.
Yeah. So a lot of that is to do a little bit with your transitional move with your lower half and how you work. The reaction of that is how the upper body stands up and moves. But to work on everything today is a little bit too much. I want to just start. I want to make some nice quicker changes to start with, get some confidence going with the move, and then work on that body pattern. So with that, so hold on, step up. So as you come through, you don't need to feel like it's going to stop us short. This can still work this way.
I'll try with a bit of a less.
And then what we'll do is afterwards, we'll finish up and just hit a couple normal speed, normal stance to see where we're at. Nice. Really good. High ball.
You just get that such a nice sound and you're like, try to repeat that.
And that one there, even though it was one of those slowest swing that you have done so far today, it was only 81 miles an hour, has actually carried the furthest at 174. So we've had an attack angle 3.5 down, half 3.5 into out, with the face 2 open. So you just had a nice, lovely, compressed height draw there. So it just shows your efficiency there was a lot better.
And now we'll get distance rather than trying to.
So you got plenty of speed in the tank, and you saw earlier when we did start moving better, your speed jumped up. You felt like you could go because you did more through. Like, speed isn't the enemy, it's just bad form and technique. So speed will just highlight some of the flaws in our swing. So I'd be a bit more of an advocate at the start to keep you at this kind of speed, where I know the technique is better. Make some sort of, like I said, work on the transition a bit to get that better, and then we can start adding speed. It's so much easier to add speed onto a good movement than the other way around. Obviously, we're always chasing distance anyways, but adding speed onto a good movement for longevity as well is so much better. We don't then have to go down and revisit down the line and rework patterns because you've got a good solid foundation there. So for me, I would probably say that's like you swinging at 65-70%. I'd be a big advocate of just keeping it at that tempo. If you feel like you're more comfortable overall just pulling that right foot slightly back, then let's just set a couple now from normal setup, feet just parallel to the target. Still the same with the ball position, hand position, shoulder alignment. There we go, a bit of weight on the left foot. It's the same principle.
Felt like I was reaching for that one there.
Path was still good, just a bit mistimed. So bad shots aren't always going to be bad technique, you can just be off in time sometimes. How does it feel in comparison to that right foot just being slightly back? Do you prefer it now from the neutral stance, or do you prefer it when it was just slightly back?
I like it when it's slightly back because it helps my back when I turn.
Yeah.
When I turn like that, when my feet are straight and squared, there it's quite tight, and then I don't feel like I get that full rotation. Whereas with that one, it just allows me to. I do it a lot with my driver. I stand like that to allow me just to get that full rotation, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Driver's a tough club.
It is.
If you feel like that, I don't mind you just dropping that right foot back slightly in the meantime.
Just slightly offline there.
Until we start moving better, we bring it back to square. Good try. Really try. Hit me one more to finish up and have another little recap. Drop that right foot back slightly, give us the space, tempo and efficiency. There we go. Now we're good time to finish up.
Love it.
That's so much better. So you have a little look at this one here. Okay, slightly slow speed again. There we go. First one at that carry there. Look how neutral that path is there with the attack angle 4. Since we've made the changes now, your average path is 0.4 into out. Whereas before it was -8, -9, I think.
That's true.
So you've moved your path there 8-9 degrees, which is huge. Again, my aim wasn't to move it that much, because if it happens, it happens. I try and bleed it in more, so it's less of a culture shock to the body. So there, still a bit of issues overall with face being fractionally left, not massively, but again, because you've made a few changes, you're going to be feeling different. Good thing is we've got the attack angle up. We're averaging just over 2. But that's because you get a couple iffy ones in there. Overall, I'd probably say it was 3.5 down, the attack angle, whereas before we were very close to the level.
True.
Which level's almost 3 with territory, though. That's where you're going to be hitting it. So for me, that's a big improvement. and then you just see that on the last one, you swing it at your 65-70% with more efficiency and technique.
Goes further.
So as a recap, so you've got a lot to work on posturally and setup with ball position, hands slightly forward, shoulder alignment, and a little bit of weight on the left side. And then from there, it was just a key real thought which tidied your backswing up straight away. It was just have a little bit of turning, get the hands further back. Now we've got the space because we're now standing further away. And what I want you to do as well is really practice and play around with this release pattern. Really like, right, what does it feel like when I've got this, my palm working more this way? What does the ball flight do? Where's it starting in relationship to when I wanted to aggressively turn my hand over? But that release pattern was key, and just when you're holding it there, analysing where that face is and where my hand position are. Again, it's not always going to be perfect because you might have done that and then made a manipulation, but at least we're getting some sort of feel and feedback from that, and hopefully as well you can start to see ball flight was improving. Didn't really hit any slices. Anything was just a slight overdraw because the face was going a bit too much. But there should be enough to work on. Happy with that?
Perfect. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Well done today, bud. Really good.
Wow.